Hey everyone, thanks for coming to our session. We're talking about the basis for Buddhist meditation. This is from one of the public speech was given by Khenpo Sodargye. There's a Q&A session. First, I would like to introduce Larunga Buddhist Academy. Larunga Buddhist Academy was established in 1980, founded by His Holiness Dime Pomso Rinpoche. It is located in China, Sichuan province. Since then, it became one of the largest and most influential centers for the study of Tibetan Buddhism in the world. As you can see in the picture, lots of red cabins, which is where the practitioners live. In peak time, there are more than 10,000 practitioners live there, study Buddhism for full time. This is a Grand Sutra Hall. Practitioners are learning Mahayana, Sutrayana, and Vajrayana. Khenpo Sodargye is one of the spiritual leaders in Nyingma lineage. As the Vajra Guru and the Dzogchen lineage holder, Khenpo is empowered to transmit Vajrayana teachings and practice. Khenpo translated a lot of teachings from Tibetan to Chinese. And for here, we also translate a lot of teachings from Chinese to English. He emphasizes a systematic approach of listening, contemplating, and meditation on the Dharma that he has been teaching over 30 years. Please check it out, khenposodargye.org. There's a lot of Khenpo's teachings and books there. First, I would like to share a short video for Lama Gadi, who is realized Dzogchen. From the other, for a special reason in 2012, we went to Dzogchen, the holy place of Dzogchen. On the way to the cave where Patrul Rinpoche wrote the word of my perfect teacher, we met the old Lama Gadi, Lama who was practicing the retreat. And the compassionate Lama gave us supreme blessing. On November 11, 2013, the old Lama passed away and appeared in an incarnation of a rainbow. The Dharma was incredible. Let's watch this video. Okay, from this short video, have you experienced Lama's great compassion and the blessing? In the video, there is a yellow book. The book is Tibetan version of the word of my perfect teacher. So we were introduced Patrul Rinpoche, which is the author, later. Tibetan Buddhism lays much emphasis on lineage transmission that has been passed on until today from the Buddha to our teachers. It carries great power continuously and without interruption. So without receiving such transmission, one is not allowed to teach others, however wise and skilled he might be. So the transmission power is very unique in Tibetan Buddhism. So let's watch Khenpo's Q&A session from one of Khenpo's public speeches. Khenpo's teaching is in Tibetan, but there is an English subtitle.
我来自他们家是也来自中国，我也是一直有关注你的微博，然后就像前几天有说，有在微博上说，其实你在吃牛油果的时候也感觉到一种禅修的平静，所以对我们这些没有系统性的学习过多学的人来说，是不是在我们的一周在一行一动中都可以进行一个禅性的修行？
当你上对。오늘 때에 치레제나 다스타 추아 로종 시네야만 보여줘. 추라 답반종 그야만 보여줘. 레타나 허나 오진 나던 거 곰바가나나 말락 상화를 보고 되니 럼바 진다나 종르크 고 로종시 냠는 거 보고 양 럼바 진다나 로무 랑조 원지. 다 디무 디 침바 속에 있나다 된저까래다. 있나요? 다 다스타가 출라 짐직신이 난다가 축년스러니 난다. 강당강에 나라 맞추 띠모라 짐직신이 하장까지워래. gergen 된게다 하장까지워래. 다 까때 때다가 매네나 지 당상 뭐뭐보즈가 그러나 나와 삼기비 출르가 동니레 제기난자. 대신도는 지금 르바레 제기난자. 측치리 니레랑에다나 좀카 스타와 같은 거 끝수시다. 가시 모셔 건데다 되는 저통고요 말에 때나 다 곰곰이 나다가 종르크 샤파이 나다가 착 좋은스 그거 맞소지 레라모즈다나 돈 침보든 저거네나 강양 다리가 하장 까머리 때나 남바 솔라 다리가 레라다 치킨제나 지만 초가 지 출르 다 산지 출르기 나다가 출르 잠바이 나다가 출르기 된 머가 맞다니 나찬세기네 터키르죠 가테 춘도 냠네 시산나 내가 짐지 시산네나 무슨 몽보 인롱 왔다 tene gergun kong na bangarege na ta lo nishisam che ga wo ku chulwa jimjik sha ka nga nyang thoba ni jisi yerang wa yo ta tin jawa shini na ngune chi chu ga nang don de dis to jire ma to zema malag ma chang wa ga tene chu de la ta chi gom go na ha jang ka mo so de na de rang ye chi chi sha yo re ta yena ya nge de rang sha ji won de ta lo mong rang a chi ngarang ga yara chser kon ro 데 롱젠 가리요 내나 회나 당선 고르모드 사가티 르가미요 너라 디모 그나 야럽 석적네 야와가 다리가 다 릉가 진도 냐츠기요 너가 다 디모가 다리가 응르제 연상기요 데데인디 여러한 밥밥 적기다는 말락상을 보죠 시긴 문에 까침보래.
Okay, the question is, dear Rinpoche, I come from China and have always paid close attention to your microblog. A few days ago, you wrote on your blog that you experienced a Zen-like state of peace when eating an avocado. For people like us who have not systematically studied in Buddha Dharma, how could we engage in meditation in our daily behavior, such as eating, walking, etc.? So Khenpo said, nowadays, there are many people who have faith in Buddhism and study the Dharma, and I really think a systematic study of Dharma is of great importance. In Tibetan monasteries, it is a must to study the Dharma in a comprehensive and systematic way, and then to practice step by step. Yet it may be difficult for lay practitioners to do that. Whether studying or practicing the Dharma, it is very important to read extensively and to rely on an authentic teacher. These days, some people say pretentiously that Buddhism is about emptiness and prajna. However, when they interpret these views of Buddhism, they just use some vague terminology which reflect their one-sided understanding. Actually, whether in practice or in theoretical study, it is difficult to find a shortcut to effortlessly attain great achievement. Khenpo continued, anyway, when following a brief system, whether it is Buddhism or any other religion, a long-term study is essential. Extensive reading is also necessary for those who want to study and practice Buddhism. Like many teachers here who have spent over 30 years studying in the Dharma, I deeply rejoice at what they do. For only by doing so can one truly understand the Dharma. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. As for practice, it is even harder to achieve anything without systematic study. For example, most of the stanzas that I presented in my talk today are extracted from what I have accumulated over many years of reading and study. When I quote them, it's just like withdrawing treasures which has been saved for years from my ATM machine. Therefore, long-term systematic study is very crucial. So I would like to introduce our study session. This is a Tibetan Buddhism book study, The Word of My Perfect Teacher. And this book also appeared in Lama Kadi's video, which shows in yellow book. It is from Tibetan version of The Word of My Perfect Teacher. This is a guide to the preliminary for the heart essence of vast expanse from great perfection. Great perfection is also named Dzogchen, which is the main practice in Lima lineage. The textbook is written by Patrul Rinpoche, interpreted by Khenpo Sodargye. The great perfection Dzogchen is a profound Dharma directly resulting in enlightenment through direct mind pointing method. This study session is available on Meetup every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Khenpo said, in our current study of the preliminary of great perfection, which is the word of my perfect teacher, everyone is also required to participate in the actual practice of meditation. Meaning what we will meditate on is based upon Longchen Nyingtik's preliminary practice instructions of finding comfort and ease in the nature of mind. There are totally 94 sessions. And this series meditation session is available on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist of Longchen Nyingtik Ngöndron meditation. Please check out if you are interested. So this is our lineage transmission chart. As you know, lineage transmission is very important in Tibetan Buddhism. From top, Buddha Sakyamuni transmitted the teachings all the way down to Guru Padmasambhava Rinpoche and Longchen Rajam, which is the author of the Longchen Nyingtik Ngöndron meditation, which is author of preliminary practice instructions of finding comfort and ease in the nature of mind. And then the teaching was transmitted to Jigme Limba Rinpoche and to Jigme Gawi Noyugo, which is the teacher of Patrul Rinpoche. And then the teaching was transmitted to Patrul Rinpoche, who is the author of the word of my perfect teacher, and transmit to Mipa Rinpoche and Jigme Phomso Rinpoche, which is the founder of Larunga Buddhist Academy, as you can see in the left side. And Khenpo Jigme Phomso has a lot of famous disciples. Two of them is Khenpo Sodargye and Khenpo Lodro. They are very famous in Western world because they came to Western visit a lot of countries and giving public speeches a few years ago, basically a few times in past 10 or 20 years. I would like to introduce the book, The Word of My Perfect Teacher. The Word of My Perfect Teacher was composed by the great Nyingma master, Patrul Rinpoche. The work is an explanation of the Longchen Nyingtik Ngöndron. Longchen Nyingtik Ngöndron is the preliminary practice from Longchen Nyingtik cycle of teachings discovered by Jigme Limba. This famous commentary is a completely faithful written record of the oral teachings Patrul Rinpoche received directly from his teacher, Jigme Gawi Noyugo. So from this chart, you will see Longchen Rajan Rinpoche passed the teaching to Jigme Limba Rinpoche, and then passed to Jigme Gawi Noyugo Rinpoche, and passed to Patrul Rinpoche. This is the lineage transmission chart. So Patrul Rinpoche is an enlightened master who, though he lived the life of Vagabond, was one of the most illustrious spiritual teachers of the 19th century. His principal teacher was Jigme Gawi Noyugo, a great master who was one of the foremost students of Jigme Limba. From Jigme Gawi Noyugo, he received no less than 25 times the teachings on the preliminary practice of the Longchen Nyingtik, as well as many other important transmissions. From time to time, he would write the text of his own, and these treatises were later collected into 6 volumes of his writings. Among them, there is the Word of My Perfect Teacher. So Jigme Gawi Noyugo was one of the foremost disciples of Jigme Limba and a teacher of Patrul Rinpoche. Jigme Gawi Noyugo was born in 1765 in Jakuka Valley. As a child, he experienced a strong desire to go to solitary places and devote himself to meditation. In his youth, he made pilgrimage to Lhasa and Samye and other sacred places and received instructions on Dzogchen, but was still obliged to accompany his elder brother on business trips. And the dishonesty he encountered on such trips filled his mind with revulsion for samsara. Later, when his brother died at the age of 18, eventually fleeing his home, he went to see the third Dzogchen Rinpoche before traveling to the central Tibet. With Panchu Gongchu Rinzom, at Samye, they met with the first Dorabchen Rinpoche, who advised them to visit Jime Limba. When they reached Zherendzong and met Jime Limba for the first time, Jime Gawi Nyugo felt incredibly joy. They received empowerment transmissions and details instructions on Dzogchen. In carrying out Jime Limba's instruction to visit sacred mountain of Tara and to meditate there, Gawi Nyugo suffered extreme hardship, but was sustained by the memory of his root teacher. During a 6-month retreat, he realized the ultimate nature of mind through the blessing of the Lama and the accomplishment of the Eden. After several more retreats in East Tibet, he returned to Zherendzong and experienced once more the great joy of seeing the omniscient Jime Limba, who invited him to stay for 3 years. He explained frankly that he has to go back home because of the obligations. He returned to camp and did many years retreat around the Dzogchen monastery and in Takuka, and had many extraordinary experiences. For 20 years, he stayed in caves in Trama Valley in Upper Jakuka, eventually become known as the Hermit of Jakuka. And Trama Lama, he lived under extremely austere conditions, sometimes under a rocky ledge or even out in the open. As advised by Jime Limba, he devoted the entire latter part of his life to teaching whoever came to listen, giving empowerment or meditation instructions to all who were devout and sincere. During this period, he gave Patrul Rinpoche teachings on the Ngöndron of Longchen Nyingtik no less than 25 times, as well as teachings on Tonglen practice and Jumpa Trempo. His instructions on the preliminary practice are recorded in Patrul Rinpoche's famous Word of My Perfect Teacher. So Longchen Nyingtik Ngöndron meditation, including outer preliminaries, which is common preliminaries, and inner preliminaries, which is a special in our lineage. The outer preliminaries are including freedom and advantages, impermanence of life, suffering of samsara, causes and effects, and the spiritual teachers. And inner preliminaries are including taking refuge for immeasurables and generating bodhicitta. It also including a lot of point out instructions. Please visit below link to get more information if you are interested. This chart is the path of realizing the nature of mind from a Tibetan Buddhism point of view. As you can see in the bottom, so the preliminary of the great perfection. Great perfection also is another name of Dzogchen. So we're including the book study, The Word of My Perfect Teacher, and analytical meditation, which is Longchen Nyingtik Ngöndron meditation. So this is preliminary, including outer preliminaries and inner preliminaries, as we covered in the previous slide. With this book study, we were accumulating the merit and purifying the negative karma And we will generate renunciation and cultivate bodhisattva. And then we can start practice the emptiness, which including the shamatha and vipassana. With practicing the emptiness or wisdom were emerging from the practice. And then we'll continue with the point out instructions. Finally, we will start realizing the nature of mind. And then after you have experiential level of the nature of mind, we have to stabilizing the realization. In the other part, current most like popular mindfulness actually is one of the methods from the Buddhism shamatha practice, but without the views, only practice mindfulness, they can gain some benefit, but the benefit is very limited. So that's all we want to cover for today's session. I will not cover Q&A sessions in this time. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Ona Hom Vajraguru Bama Siddhi Hom.